and welcome. Today I am going to play Caucasus 2020, a scenario from the latest issue of the Tactics and Strategy magazine, released last year, and it is using Ardennes 2024 rules. And this scenario touching a very interesting subject about Russian occupation of Crimea. After Russia annexed the entire Crimea Peninsula, its people faced a growing problem with lack of drinking water, because about 86% of drinking water at Crimea were coming from the river Dnieper. And through the North Crimea Channel, it was transported right through the Perekop Isthmus into the Crimea. And after 2014, Ukraine cut off this North Crimea Channel because of Russian occupation of Crimea. And since that time, people at Crimea have growing problems with lack of drinking water. This is especially true for the major cities, because small towns are kinda able to get some water from the local wells, but the big cities are facing big problems with lack of water. Russians are saying that they are about to make a pipeline from Russia to transport water from their own land, but, well, they are saying that they will do so, but they are not doing so. And because of that, especially at the last years, there was a lot of talking that Russia might go with their troops north and capture the entire North Crimea Channel, along with New Kakhovka Dam here, to get to these water resources and to secure the entire area. And this scenario covers such situation. It takes place during the Caucasus 2020 exercises of the Russian army, where one of the Russian brigades moves forward to launch quick attack on this New Kakhovka area and to capture dams and secure the channel. According to the special scenario rules, Ukrainians are kinda aware of the possible threat of Russian attack, and they get some of their units here to possibly slow down enemy advance, or maybe even stop it, so Russians wouldn't be able to get here quickly. There are some minefields as well, and we have some special rules about it. And this is quite a short scenario. It has only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turns, so it should go smoothly, with a small number of units on both sides. But, well, Russians have some good mechanized forces, while Ukraine has only infantry, local defense, and some motorized infantry. So Russians are in advantage when it comes to the strength. They also have some air support and combat helicopters, so it won't be an easy thing to do for Ukrainians. So let's see how they will make it. Okay, so we have turn 1. According to the special scenario rules, at the beginning of each turn, Russian player has to make a roll. Nothing. If he rolls 1, then his unit or his stack, which is closest to the New Kakhovka, has to stop, and it cannot make any movements during this turn. This shows Ukrainian minefields that are all over here the board. Okay, so that's all, and next we have Russian artillery fire phase, so Russians might use their artillery to perform any attacks on the enemy units, and they don't want to use it, because they will use it rather to support their attacks. And now Russians have their special forces as well, and they might use them to do some stuff like cutting enemy supply, destroying bridges, or attacking enemy headquarters. And that's what I'm going to do. There is Ukrainian headquarters here, and I will try to make a special forces attack on this headquarter. I have to make a roll with 2d6, and if I will roll 12 to 10, sorry, 12 or 11, I believe, I have to check to make sure. Yes, 11 or 12, then headquarter is eliminated. If I will roll 10 to 8, it is disorganized. So let's make a roll. It is 8. Normally it would be disorganized, but because there was an enemy unit on the same hex as this headquarter, then we have to subtract 1 from our die roll, so we have 7, and 7 means that attack wasn't effective. Okay, so now we have to make a roll for the survival of the special forces. If I roll 1, 3, it is eliminated. If I will roll 4, 6, it is alright. It is alright, so it returns to the player, and it wouldn't be available in the next turn, but after the next turn we will be able to use it again. Okay, so now we have to make movement. Each unit has 2 factors, strength and movement. So I will start with this mechanized battalion. It moves 1, 2, 3, 4, and now these Russian tanks 1, because they are moving down the road, 2, 3, 4, and that's how they are going to attack this Ukrainian battalion. Now this stack will just simply attack this Ukrainian battalion here, which hides in the woods, and I have one more. Sorry, I will move this headquarter here, and now you can see I have one more Russian motorized brigade here. This is rather a recon unit, and I will place strategic movement here. And when you have strategic movement counter placed on such a unit, you are prohibited to make any move with these units, in your movement phase. But after all your battles are resolved during your combat phase, then you are allowed to make a move with such a unit, but it cannot attack or enter enemy zones of control. Alright, so that's all when it comes to the Russian movement, and now I have to make attacks. Before I will do it, I have 3 points of the air force and 4 points of combat helicopters. First I have to make a roll for possible losses of my air force. It is 6, so I believe they are fine. Gotta check. 6, yes, they are fine, so I am able to use them anywhere I like. When you are using your air force, you roll once for the entire turn, and that's all. But if you are using combat helicopters, you have to make a roll for each combat you are using them. So let's start here, and I will use my air force here. So I have 3 points of my air force. So I have 3, 6, and 11. 11 against 2 is 5 to 1. It is quite good. And I have 2 points of electronic warfare for this turn. You can use 1 point of electronic warfare to get 1 column shift for your favor during the combat. So I will use 1 electronic warfare point, and I have 6 to 1. And since I'm in the range of my headquarter, which is 10 hexes, I have another column shift, so my total odds are 7 to 1. Total? No. This Russian unit has a star between its combat strength and movement value. This says that it has a column shift when it's attacking non-fortified enemy unit. So this Ukrainian unit is non-fortified, so we get another column shift. So we have 8 to 1. Great. And now Ukrainians are in the village, so they have 1 column shift, so we have final odds as 7 to 1. Still very good for Russians. Let's make a roll. 6. It is B3. This means that that defender has to retreat 3 hexes. So I'm going to move them 1, 2, 3, and now we have to make a check for the possible disorganization of this unit. When unit gets result B2, it has to make a single roll for disorganization. If it's B3, it has to make 2 die rolls, and if it has B4, it has to make 3 die rolls. So let's make first the die roll 8, they are fine, and the second, they are fine, because you would get 2 or 3 or 11 or 12 to disorganize your unit. And now Russians are allowed to make a pursuit 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the other combat goes here. I will use my artillery and my combat helicopters to support it. I have 4 points of combat helicopters, so I have to make a roll. 2 means that I lost 2 of them, so I still have 2. So I have 2, 7, 9, and 12. I have 12 against 2, so it is 6 to 1. Next, I am using 1 point of my electronic warfare, so I have 7 to 1. Hit quarter, so I have 8 to 1. And they are in the woods, so I have 7 to 1. Again, very good result. And 8 in the 7 to 1 is B3 minus 1. So defender suffers 1 step loss, and it has to retreat 3 hexes, 1, 2, 3, and make 2 disorganization checks. They are fine, and they are fine. Okay, and now attacker is allowed to make pursuit 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's not all. That's all for combat. But now I am allowed to make a movement with this unit, and this is motorized unit, so it moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because it pays 2 movement points when it moves through the non-road clear terrain. Okay, so that's all when it comes to the Russian movement phase, and now we have Russian supply phase to check if Russians are in supply. I guess they are, because their supply is coming from this road, so they are all fine. Okay, so that's all for Russians, and now we have Ukrainians. In this turn, Ukrainians are getting 1 unit of reinforcement. It comes from 5332, so from this hex. And Ukrainians also have 1 special forces unit. They are able to use. And I'm going to try to destroy this bridge with my special forces. Now let's make a roll, if I can do so. Okay, I need to get 4 to 6 on the 1d6. Yeah, I made it. So this bridge goes kaboom. Gonna place a proper marker, and now I need to make a roll for their survival. 4, they are fine, so they return to the game later. Okay, so that's all for the Ukrainian special forces, and now we have to make a movement with Ukrainians. And okay, so what they can do? First, I need to move them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. They. 1, 2, 3, and I might try to attack this enemy brigade, while for the other Ukrainian unit, I would rather fortify this, because I can. Why I didn't fortify this unit? because you cannot fortify a unit that suffered a retreat result in the previous combat. So, since this battalion was forced to retreat in the previous combat, it cannot fortify itself in this turn. So that's why I move it, and this battalion gets field fortifications counter. Alright, and now I will move this reinforcement unit. It moves 1 because it is main road, 2, 3 or 4. It will move here, and as for my 2 other units, I will I will fortify this one and move the other here. Okay, so that's all for Ukrainian movement, and now I have one Ukrainian attack to perform. It is here. I think they haven't support from their headquarter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whoa, 1 hex. Okay, so it's 1-to-1 without any modifiers. It is 7. So I believe it's nothing, but I need to make sure about it. 7 in the 1-to-1. No, it is -1, -1. So each side suffers 1 step loss. And now we have Ukrainian supply phase, but all Ukrainians are in supply because their supply base is this area. So they have a road connection with it. Okay, so that's all for the turn 1. We are moving into turn 2. So let's go with turn 2. In the turn 2, Russians are getting their one and only reinforcement in this scenario. It is 1 mechanized battalion, but first we have to make a roll for minefields. 5, no minefields. So all Russians are fine. So let's go, and first it is air phase, so I have to make a roll for my air forces. I have 3 points of air forces, and 4 means, well, 3 points out. So I have no air points in this phase. And next we have artillery fire phase. I'm not going to use my artillery to fire at anyone. So next we have Russian movement phase. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will move forward while these tanks will attack here. Now this white road is secondary road, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, the question is if I want to attack here. I think I will, because I have some good support all over here, so I might do it. I believe so. Okay, so next we have to make Russian attacks, but first of all, I forgot that I still have some special forces that I might use to attack this Ukrainian headquarters again, and maybe this time it will be more effective because there are no enemy units on this hex. 6, no, they achieved nothing, and now survival check. 4, so they are fine. Okay, let's resolve Russian attacks. First I will attack here. I have 8. And I will call for my combat helicopters support, so I have to roll for anti-artillery fire, anti-air fire. It is 3, so it's -2, so I have 1. So I have 1, so I have 8 here, and +1, it's 9. No, it changes nothing. I have 9 against 2, so it's 4-1. And I am using my 1 point of electronic warfare, because in this turn I have only 1, so I have 4-1, and now I have 5-1. And because of the hit quarter I have 6-1. And now enemy is in the fortifications, so I have 5-1, and they are in the village, so I have 4-1. 6 in the 4-1 is B2, so defender has to retreat 2 hexes. 1, 2. Now let's make their disorganization check. 5, they are fine. And now Russians are making their pursuit, so 1, 2. Okay, the other combat we have here, and it is 1 plus 5 of this artillery, so I have 6-1, pretty good. And because of this hit quarter we have 7-1. I believe I still cannot use my Ukrainian hit quarter support. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No! Again, no. So let's make a roll. 3. Very good result. It was 7-1, and it is 3. It is dot for the defender and B for -1. So defender suffers 1 step loss and has to retreat 4 hexes, and since they already suffered 1 step loss, so because of that they are eliminated. And now I have to make a roll for possible disorganization of the attacker, because there was a dot at the combat result. It is 10, they are fine. So because of that they are able to capture enemy hex. And now we have our supply phase. Well, all Russian units are in supply. No. You can see that this unit cannot trace a land road connection safe from the enemy zones of control, and it is not on any hex that is adjacent to the road. So because of that it gets -1 supply. It is not a very gravy stuff, but it will slow it down a bit, make it harder to fight, and so. Okay, now we have Ukrainians. Ukrainians get, sorry, I should place it here to not mistake it with possible reinforcements. Ukrainians have one special force unit, and it will try to attack Russian headquarter. Oh, they made it. So in the next turn, a Russian headquarter won't be able to support any of their forces. And now let's make a survival check for Ukrainians. Oh, they failed. So this special force unit is eliminated. Okay, so that's all for Ukrainians when it comes to the special forces, and now their movement phase. So 1, 2. Now this unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or maybe 1, 2. Whatever I will do, it will be hard. I'm gonna think, but well, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's all. They are fortifying themselves on this hex, and they are fortifying themselves here. Okay, so that's all for... I don't get any... Oh, I get some reinforcements here as well. So these 2 units. So we have 1 headquarter and 1 battalion, so it's good. 1, 2, it moves here, and the headquarter goes here. Okay, that's all when it comes to the Ukrainian movement. I don't have any attacks to resolve. No, I don't have. And now the supply stuff. Well, they have a supply from these hexes. because there are no enemy zones of control anywhere, so they are still in supply, but they might be easily cut off with this unit in the next turn. We will see. Okay, so that's all for this second turn of the game. Okay, let's go on with the turn 3, and first, Russians are... they still have one special forces group, and they will try to attack this Ukrainian headquarters. Again, we'll see if they will make it. 6, they didn't, so let's make survival check. They failed, so this unit is eliminated. Okay, so now we have Russian air phase. Russians have 2 air points in this phase, so let's make a air defense check. So we roll 2, so 2 points out, so no air points for Russia in this phase. Sorry, in this turn. Okay, so now we have Russian movement phase, and now, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now these tanks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, headquarter is disorganized, so it stays here and it cannot be used. So that's all when it comes to the Russian movement, and now let's carry on with Russian attacks. I will start here. I'm attacking through the channel, and because of that I have some... what do I have? It is small river, so we have +1 for the defender. So I have 3 against 1, so I have 3 to 1. And now I have 2 to 1 because there is a channel. And now no villages, so we have 2 to 1. It's 6. So in the 2 to 1 it is B2. So defender has to retreat 2 hexes. 1, 2. And Russians moving here. And now I have to make a disorganization check for the Ukrainians. 10, they made it. Okay. So now here I have 4 against 2. So it's 2 to 1. And I will use my 1 electronic warfare point that I have for this turn, so I have 3 to 1, and now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ukrainian headquarters is in effect, so we have +1 column shift for Ukrainians, so we have 2 to 1. 7 in the 2 to 1, it is B1. So defender retreats 1 hex, and because it is 1 hex retreat, so they don't have to make a disorganization check. And now here we have 7 plus 5, it is 12, and I will try to use my 2 points of combat helicopters. I rolled 1, so I lost 1, so I have still 1, so I have 8. 8 plus 5 is 13, so it's 13 against 2. It is 6 to 1, and we have 5 to 1 because of the Ukrainian headquarters. 4 to 1 because of Ukrainians in fortification, and 3 to 1 because this unit attacks through the river. So it's 3 to 1, and it's 10. 10 in the 3 to 1 is -1, B1 -1. So each side suffers 1 step loss, and the defender has to retreat 1 hex. So they retreat here, and these tanks are pursuing them on this hex. And because it was B1 only, then defender doesn't have to make disorganization rolls. Okay, now it is Russian supply phase, and I believe all Russian units are in supply. Well, this unit is in supply, and because this one is adjacent to this unit, so it is supplied as well, I can finally flip this headquarters, so it will be in effect now. And well, Ukrainians have any special forces? No, they don't have in this turn anymore. And this Russian unit has supply again. Okay, so that's all for Russians, and now we have a Ukrainian movement phase. So 1, 2, I will move into this village. Now this unit was forced to retreat, so it moves 1 hex down. And now this motorized unit, it is cut off from its allies, so I have to move it back on this side of the North Crimea channel. How much I would have to pay? For motorized, I would have to pay 3 movement points. I think I don't have any. 2, 4, and 6. Why here? Because I would have to pay 3 movement points to move through the channel, and then 2 movement points to enter such a clear terrain hex, so I wouldn't be able to satisfy this. So all I can do is to move here and defend in this village. Okay. Now I'm fortifying this unit, and now I have some reinforcements here coming, so I will move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will try to attack this Russian airborne battalion. Okay, so that's all for Ukrainians, and now we have their combat phase. I am attacking here this Russian battalion. I have 2, they have 1, so it's 2 to 1, and I have my headquarter in range, so it's 3 to 1. And now if Russian headquarter is in effect, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, it is not. So we have 3 to 1 for Ukrainians. It is 5. In 3 to 1 it is dot and b2. So defender has to retreat 2 hexes, so they have to make disorganization check. They made it, they are safe. And now we have to make a disorganization check for attackers, since there was a dot. They are fine, and they are moving here. Or do I have to make any movement? No, I don't have. I don't want to. Let them stay where they are. They are fine here. And now we have Ukrainian supply phase, so this unit is out of supply, and all the others are in supply. So okay, so that's all for the turn 3. So we have turn 4, and in the turn 4 Russians have only 1 point of air force and 1 point of combat helicopters, and no electronic warfare at all, but they still have 1 special forces unit, and they will use it to attack this Ukrainian headquarter. We'll see if it will be effective. No, it wasn't. Now for losses, yes, it was eliminated. No good. Okay, but it was also the last turn for the Russian special forces. Now Russians have 1 air force point, so I have to make a roll for air defense. 3. It won't be effective. Okay. So let's go to make Russian movement, and starting here, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will use this brigade to move here just to protect my other units. And now this headquarter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it seems it will be very hard for Russians to achieve a victory in this playthrough, because to win the game they have to control these 2 hexes, or they gain victory points for capturing any hex of New Kachovka or any of the Ukrainian units being eliminated. Okay, so let's resolve combat. We don't have any, no, we don't have any electronic warfare points since this turn. So we have 3 to 1 here, and 2+1 for Ukrainians because of the village, +1 for Ukrainians because of being in range of their headquarters, so it's 1 to 1. And now Russians get +1 from their HQ, and now, so it is 2 to 1, and now they call for 1 point of their combat helicopters. 2, they failed. So it's 2 to 1, 6, it is B2. So 1, 2, and disorganization check, they made it. So Russians pursuing here. And now, oh, I forgot about these tanks. My god. My god. So 1, 2. I will attack here. I completely forgot about these tanks. Sorry. So I'm attacking here. I have 3, 6, and 7 against 2. It's 3 to 1. I get +1 for my headquarters, but Ukrainians get also, so it's so headquarters are nullifying each other. So it's still 3 to 1, and no any terrain. So it's just 3 to 1. 8. 8 in the 3 to 1, it is B2. So defender has to retreat 2 hexes, but he cannot, because both of the possible retreat hexes, this or that, are in the enemy zone of control. So he suffers 2-step losses, so he's eliminated. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, and now the last battle in this phase. 5 plus 5, so we have 10 against 2, so it's 5 to 1. Then headquarters are nullifying each other. Then we have -1 column shift because of fortifications and -1 because of the village, so it's 4 to 1 and 3 to 1 and 8. It is B2, so defender has to retreat 2 hexes, 1, 2, and make a roll for possible disorganization. Oh, that was close, but they made it. So Russians are, well, going quite smoothly right into the target. Maybe they will be able to win. Okay, so now Ukrainians. I am thinking about using all my units to launch a counterattack on these tanks, but it will be extremely hard. But well, I have a little options. So I will try to drive them away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now them. They are out of supply, so I believe that their movement allowance might be reduced. Yes, they have only half of their movement points rounded up, so they have 4. So they can move. They cannot cross this channel because of that, but they can use their minimum movement. So minimum movement allowance is that the unit moves to the adjacent hex, but only if this hex is not prohibited for this kind of unit, and it finishes its movement here. So that's all for them, and now I will try this desperate attack here on these Russian tanks. So I have 1, 3, 4, and 5. So I have 5 to 1, sorry, 5 to 5, so it's 1 to 1. Headquarters are nullifying each other, and they have a star, but stars working are only in the attack. They are not working in the defense. So it's 1 to 1, and Russians are in the village, so we have 2 to 1. Oh my. Oh hell! Oh hell! That was worst possible roll. So what it says: attacker is disorganized, losses 2 step losses, and retreats 2 hexes. Okay, so 2 of Ukrainian units are suffering step loss, and they are all disorganized, and they all have to retreat 2 hexes. 1, 2. That's a disaster. 1, 2. One, two, and 1, 2. Well, so it's eliminated. And now Russians are suffering 1 step loss. Okay, that was... I can't even tell how horrific this attack was for Ukrainians. Okay, so now Russians. And we have last turn of the game, so it's turn 5. In the turn 5, Russians have 1 air point and 2 air force points. Sorry, combat helicopters points. So let's make a roll for them, and first for minefields. Oh, it is 1. So the Russian unit, which is closer to the New Kakhovka, cannot move. So these tanks cannot move. Well, that's bad. But it wouldn't be much in effect. The Russians already managed to win, I believe, because headquarters cannot defend each other, so themselves. So Russians are moving 1, 2, 3. This headquarter is eliminated, and 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So all the hexes Russians needed to control to gain instant victory are already in the Russian control. So Russians won this battle, mostly because this disastrous Ukrainian attempt to perform a counter-attack in the last turn, sorry, not in the previous turn. Well, that was very hazardous action for Ukrainians, and they failed completely. Well, such things happen in the war. Okay, so that's all for this scenario. As you can see, it is very small and quick battle, but I like to play such scenarios from time to time. So thank you for watching, and see you again.